We tend to think of video games as just, well, games, right? A digital escape. But what happens when those lines start to blur? When a virtual world gets so real and so massive that it can actually host conflicts that look a lot like our own? Today, we're diving into one of the most incredible stories in the history of gaming. So let me just start with a big question. Can a video game actually host a revolution? I'm not talking about a little in-game battle or a tournament. I mean a genuine, citizen-led uprising that goes on for years and totally reshapes the culture of its world. It sounds like something out of a movie, but believe me, it happened. Just look at this number, 200,000. That's not the population of a city. That's how many players took part in a single conflict that lasted for 4 straight years. And this all went down inside the massively multiplayer online game, Lineage 2. Okay, so you're probably asking, how in the world is a virtual war on that scale even possible? Well, the answer is pretty amazing, and it all comes down to the groundbreaking tech they used to build this world way back in 2003. When Lineage 2 first launched, it was an absolute powerhouse. It set a whole new bar for graphics, with its fully 3D world. But beyond just how good it looked, the truly game-changing part was how that world was put together. The game had a secret weapon. It was something called a seamless overworld. And because it was powered by the Unreal 2 engine, this tech let you travel across a gigantic, continent-sized map without hitting a single loading screen. No pauses, no breaks, just one continuous living world. And here, you can really see why that was such a huge deal. Most games at the time felt all chopped up, right? You'd went to the edge of an area and bam, loading screen. It felt disjointed. But Lineage 2's seamless world got rid of all that, creating one single, massive, unified society. It wasn't just a game with a bunch of levels. It was a place. A persistent place where tens of thousands of people could live together and, as it turns out, declare war on each other. This technology really set the stage for the main event, the Bart's Liberation War. And let me be clear, this was not some pre-scripted quest from the developers. This was a true online citizen revolution, organized and fought from start to finish by the players themselves. This timeline really puts the scale of it all into perspective. The conflict started in 2004, and it just kept going for 4 solid years. I mean, think about that. A player-led war that lasted longer than many real-world wars. It became so significant that it actually broke out of the game itself, eventually being featured in art exhibits as a real cultural event. The impact of this war just spilled out everywhere. It wasn't contained in the game's servers. It inspired news articles, webtoons, even novels. At that point, it stopped being just a story about a video game. It became a story about community, about politics, and about power. But the story of Lineage 2 is so much more than just this one incredible war. The game itself has this remarkable legacy of just sticking around, of having this global influence that's now lasted for almost 2 decades. A big part of that legacy is how it was always evolving. After it launched in Korea and then expanded across the globe, the developers just kept it alive by adapting. They launched classic servers for players who missed the original experience, and eventually they just dropped the price tag completely, making it free to play so its world could stay open for new generations. And the game's success was absolutely massive on an international scale. I mean, as you can see here, it's playable in 83 different regions. It expanded to Europe, Russia, China, you name it. It became a true global phenomenon. And here's a little fact that really shows its impact. At its peak, Lineage 2 was the #1 game in PC cafes all across Japan. Now, for anyone who follows the industry, you know the Japanese market is incredibly hard for foreign online games to break into. So hitting #1 there, that was a monumental achievement. So what's the big takeaway here? The story of Lineage 2 and the Bart's Liberation War showed the entire world, maybe for the very first time, quote, the real extent of social, political, and cultural influence that an online video game can exert. It was proof that these virtual spaces are so much more than just games. They're societies. Which, of course, leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to think about. If a game from all the way back in 2003 could host a 4-year revolution with 200,000 people, what is the next virtual revolution going to look like now that our online worlds are infinitely more complex and connected than ever before?